Do you still think wild boar hunting is just a reckless thrill hidden deep inside remote forests? In Spain, the reality is very different. This is not simply a sport. It is regulated work, legal responsibility, and for many hunters, a serious source of income. Fresh wild boar meat can reach high market value, depending on weight, quality, and season. That single fact changes everything. Every hunt carries pressure, purpose, and consequences that cannot be ignored. Our journey began at a licensed hunting estate near Candela, a rugged region surrounded by steep hills and dense woodland. Before we even reached the mountain trail, danger found us first. A massive wild boar exploded from the brush without warning and charged straight toward us. There was no time to hesitate. Instinct took over. One sharp shot echoed across the road. The animal dropped instantly. First contact had already set the tone for the day. Once inside the mountains, we released the hunting dogs. Within seconds, they scattered across the slopes, barking sharply as they picked up fresh tracks. Moments later, a large boar burst into the open, panic driving every step. It never realized it was already surrounded. Diego raised his rifle and fired. The boar staggered, lost balance, and collapsed. A clean takedown, but nobody relaxed. While part of the team held lower ground, my partner and I climbed higher to flank the area. The dogs were relentless, their barking growing louder with every second. Alone on the ridge, rifle tight in my hands, every sound felt amplified. My heart raced as my eyes scanned every bush and shadow, knowing hesitation here could be fatal. Suddenly, the boar charged through the trees. I fired several shots in rapid succession. Smoke filled the air, followed by silence. The animal was down. Relief hit hard, followed instantly by adrenaline. I radioed the team. Another threat eliminated, but the hunt was far from finished. Tension mounted at Diego's post as the dogs forced another boar forward. When it finally broke cover, it came dangerously close. One precise shot dropped it just in time. Out here, 1 second too late, cost life. The mountains fell silent again, but no one lowered their guard. Wild boars are unpredictable, fast, and brutally strong. Even wounded, they can turn and attack without warning. That is why teamwork matters more than courage. Every position is planned, every shot calculated, every movement controlled. Hunting alone in terrain like this is a gamble no experienced hunter would ever take. As we regrouped and checked our surroundings, one truth was clear. This hunt was only beginning, and the mountains still held dangers waiting to strike. We adjusted our positions, listening closely to the dogs echoing through the valleys, fully aware that the next encounter could come from any direction at any moment, without mercy or warning. Fingers stayed tight on triggers, eyes alert, breath steady, as the forest watched us just as close. The signal to regroup had already been given, but the dogs told a different story. Their barking rose again, sharp and urgent, echoing through the valley. Another boar was on the move. Ignoring fatigue, We pushed forward, climbing higher into rougher ground. The terrain narrowed, forcing us into tight paths where visibility dropped to just a few meters. Every step had to be measured. In places like this, a charging boar leaves no room to escape. Suddenly, movement exploded ahead of us. A dark shape burst through the brush. I raised my rifle, tracking the target through tangled branches. The boar was fast, using the slope to its advantage. I fired. The shot connected. The animal stumbled, rolled down the incline, and went still. Gun smoke drifted slowly through the trees. Another successful takedown, but the tension refused to fade. We repositioned quickly. Downhill, the forest opened into a wider stretch, dense yet deceptive. This was prime habitat for wild boars. Clever, aggressive, and familiar with every escape route, they could vanish in seconds. The dogs split again, circling, driving something larger toward us. Then it happened. Not one, but two boars burst out together, charging head-on. My pulse spiked. There was no time for fear. Two shots rang out in rapid succession. Dust and leaves filled the air. Both animals dropped within seconds. The moment was over, but my hands still trembled from the rush. Moments later, another call came through the radio. A teammate had spotted movement along a narrow ridge. We moved fast, spreading out to block any escape. The boar appeared suddenly, sprinting across the trail. One clean shot ended the chase instantly. Success followed success, but no one celebrated. Experience teaches restraint. Overconfidence gets hunters killed. As the afternoon wore on, exhaustion crept in. Muscles burned, lungs strained, yet the dogs refused to slow down. Their barking led us toward one last target. This boar did not flee. It turned and charged with raw aggression. Roy stepped forward calmly, shouldered his rifle, and fired. One powerful shot brought it crashing down. Silence returned once more. We paused only briefly to confirm safety and legality. Every hunt follows strict wildlife laws. Seasons matter. Limits matter. Respect for the land matters. This is not chaos. It is control. As the sun dipped lower, we knew the hunt was reaching a critical point. Shadows stretched longer, visibility dropped, and danger increased. Still, the dogs kept moving. That meant one thing. Somewhere ahead, the final challenge of the day was waiting, hidden, watching, ready to strike when we least expected it. By late afternoon, the forest felt different. The light softened, shadows stretched across the slopes, and every sound carried farther than before. This was the most dangerous window of the hunt. Tire hunters make mistakes, and wild boars become bolder as daylight fades. We moved carefully, scanning every clearing, every break in the trees. The dogs slowed, then barked again. Fresh movement. Ahead of us, a group of wild boars emerged near a feeding area, their dark shapes clearly visible against the earth. We spread out silently, taking positions without a word. From higher ground, I lined up my scope and waited. Timing mattered more than speed. One boar separated from the group, stepping into the open. I squeezed the trigger. The shot landed clean. The animal dropped instantly as the others scattered into the brush. We pushed forward, staying alert. The dogs picked up another trail, driving a boar toward a narrow opening. It burst through at full speed. I steadied my aim and fired. The boar stumbled, took a few steps, and collapsed. Dust settled slowly as the forest grew quiet again. Another controlled takedown. As evening approached, we made the call to finish strong and leave before darkness fully set in. Staying after nightfall is a risk no disciplined hunter ignores. But just as we prepared to withdraw, movement caught our attention near the tree line. One last boar lingering, unaware. We repositioned carefully, close in the distance. I raised my rifle, controlled my breathing, and fired. The final shot echoed through the hills. The boar dropped where it stood. With that, the hunt came to an end. We regrouped, checked one another, and confirmed every action followed legal and ethical standards. This was never about reckless violence. It was about balance. Wild boar populations grow fast, destroying crops, threatening livelihoods, and damaging ecosystems. Responsible hunting restores control where nature has tipped too far. As we descended the mountain, exhaustion mixed with satisfaction. Every hunt tells a story of discipline, teamwork, and respect for the land. Today was no different. The forest returned to silence, but the lessons remain clear. Out here, preparation saves lives, patience decides outcomes, and one careless moment can change everything. This is wild boar hunting, not a thrill, not chaos, a calculated battle where experience is the only true advantage.